Okay, I wanted to make a quick video on installing these. These are electrical outlets that you can install into trailers, mobile homes, whatever. And I'm installing it into this 14-foot trailer. And the first thing you need to do is to drill a 2-inch hole, okay? I used this auger bit, 2-inch hole drill bit, and it worked beautifully. I did do it from the inside. I don't know why, I just thought that might be better. But you can see it made a very clear hole. And when you watch me put this in, there is a cord bump that kind of gets in the way of coming through the 2-inch hole. So I basically just took this little saw and just notched it out a little bit, okay? And I'll show you here in a minute. I'm sorry for the bad video skills, but we'll run this through. Let me see, okay. This is a double outlet one here. Okay, just run everything through, and you can see that this right here is why you have to notch that out. Now I will say one thing, after I drilled the 2-inch hole, I did have to take a file and kind of ream this. Well, you probably want to do it anyway to get the burrs and stuff off, but it was just really tight where I couldn't fit this through. So I just took a file and lightly, went around all the edges, and as you can see, it fits beautifully. And then what we're going to do is put it comes with 3 self-tapping screws, and we're going to put those in to secure it. There is a gasket that goes on this before you mount it, okay? One thing I want to say real quick is, even though there's a gasket, I am going to put a little bit of clear sealant on the inside and outside of the gasket, just to make sure this thing never leaks, okay? And a good tip, I'm telling you, anytime you're going to use any kind of sealant, caulk, whatever it may be, clean all the surfaces that the caulk or whatever you're using is going to come in contact with. Alcohol, rubbing alcohol, is the best thing in the world, and it's cheap. And I've already cleaned this, okay? So what I'm going to do now is go in and clean the inside and outside of the gasket off with rubbing alcohol. Put a little bit of clear sealant on the inside and outside. We'll go ahead and mount it onto this, and we'll finish installing it. This is the gasket that will be around here, and then the cap will fold over and make this watertight so no water sets in there, okay? But what we're going to do first of all, like I said, we are going to clean this surface and both sides of this gasket, both sides, with rubbing alcohol. Just your basic, cheap, generic alcohol. Make sure your cloth is clean, and I promise you, it will never leak if you clean these really good and use a decent adhesive. It'll last decades, and it will never ever leak. So we're going to pause for now and make a little progress. We just put a very, very light layer of silicone. Just your basic clear silicone. And we've cleaned this with rubbing alcohol, cleaned that surface with rubbing alcohol. Now we're going to put this on. Make sure you put it on the right way, because I put it on backwards at first. Okay, and just kind of press this into place all around. Okay, and then now your cover shuts nicely. Okay, so the next thing is a little bit of I'm out of your frame. Just a little bit of silicone on the back of this. I'm sorry if my video is all over the place, but I don't have any help here, as usual. Okay, let's seal up our bottle of silicone so we don't dry it all out. Okay, now, one important thing. When you spread this silicone, make sure you have cleaned your finger with, again, rubbing alcohol. Your fingers have grease on them, and any grease transferred to this could block a good adhesion and a good seal. So just, use rubbing alcohol, use it liberally. It dries quickly and it's cheap. Okay, so that's it for now. And we're going to go and put this in the trailer. We're not going to screw it in quite just yet. So let's go out and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to run these cords through the inside. Easier said than done when you're trying to film. Okay, try not to touch any of that. And just push it up against here. Okay, now you see you got a little bit of silicone. It's coming through the holes, no big deal. We can wipe it off. If you have any excess silicone around here, just take a rag with rubbing alcohol on it again before it dries, and just clean it up. Okay, all that's left to do is put in 3 self-tapping screws. The third one is under there, if you can see it, under the cap. Okay, so really simple. Don't be intimidated. It's very simple. Good luck. Okay, we started our self-tapping screws with a cordless screwdriver, and a drill bit or a Phillips bit. Do not run these all the way in with that, because you're likely going to strip out this very thin aluminum. And I believe it even tells you in the instructions, get them started and then screw them in by hand. You don't want to put gorilla strength on this crap, okay, because you're going to ream out the hole, which is one reason I like putting the silicone on, is because if I do ream out the hole, I have the silicone to help hold it. So just finish tightening these up just snug, and clean up any silicone that's around there with your little bit of rubbing alcohol on a rag. Thanks, guys. Okay, finished product. Very simple. Don't be intimidated. You're not going to hurt anything. Well, hopefully you won't. And then I chose the double. I'm going to run one that way just so I have outside power. I'm going to run one that way and put it on a circuit strip. But in a second here, I'm going to show you why it's so important to use the rubbing alcohol. I can't stress it enough. Hold on. This is my 2020 Tacoma, and probably within 6 months after buying it, I wanted to put this light strip on. It's brake lights, turn signals, even has backup. It's full function, okay? Now this is not like on a bar where it's very rigid. It actually came all rolled up in a box. And so I did let it sit. I unwound it backwards and put a little bit of weight on it and just let it sit in the house to get the room temperature and kind of flatten out a little bit. I cleaned this surface really good with rubbing alcohol, okay? And mounted it, and as you can see, it's 2024. It's been almost 4 years now. It is still as solid as the day I put it on. It just uses 3M automotive grade adhesive, which is a great adhesive, but you gotta put it on a clean, dry, no oil, no fingerprint surface, and it will last forever. When I put this on YouTube, people told me that's gonna peel off in 6 months. Well, sorry folks, you obviously didn't take the time to do it right. This thing has been through hundreds of car washes, winters, everything. And it's still on just as strong as the day I put it there. That's why you need a extremely clean, dry, non-greasy surface. And I know I keep saying that, but that's how important it is. Okay, good luck with all your projects.